Someone sends me their cat or their puppy, I ask them the animal's name, I call it by name the whole time. So I have an enormous amount of respect and integrity for the animal. I'm the Sorceress Cagliastro. I do basically pet mummification for animals who are under 20 pounds. I look at the animal and I decide whether I will be able to create a vision of the animal in a form that looks similar to what it would look like while alive. For example, this is a mummified bullfrog. This is a caiman. This is a baby caiman. And the individual did not want the tail concealed within the main wrapping. She wanted the tail to be a separate entity because the tail was sort of her favorite part. I have an enormous, almost confusing following in Texas. I have clients in California, in Maine, in Washington State. There's only 5 or 6 states that I haven't had pets from at this point. My clientele is more than 60% male, which I find very interesting. Men have expressed more of an interest for the permanent, for a situation where their animals become permanent and in their home. The basic tenet amongst all clients is that they made a decision that the animal is going to stay with them in their home, and that cremation is not a choice that they're interested in. About 20 years ago, I worked for the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. I was an autopsy tech. I got a license in forensic reconstruction, where you get the skull and put the face back on using clay and markers. It didn't provide for me the joy that I was hoping that it would provide, although I was very interested in the preservation of flesh. The reality is that no matter how much information we have from ancient Egypt, no one has presented a manual of mummification. When you think about the Book of the Dead is really called the Book of Coming Forth by Day, and so much it is a list of spells and procedures to allow one to become reanimated in the afterlife. So there is almost nothing about mummification. So what I did was I worked with some chemistry students, and we got together and we figured out over multiple years, about 10 years of experimenting with rotting pieces of meat, what we could preserve and what we could not. I now have what I call my secret formula of 10 salts and 6 metals, and creates this experience called mummified remains. I have one celebrity client, which I can't talk about. And I have one client who intrigues me endlessly. She will be my first human mummification. She's terminally ill. I've mummified 3 of her pets. She has built a temple in her home in Arizona, and she would like to be laid out like the wife of a pharaoh. And it is my intention to mummify a human within the next 16 months. I am fascinated with the process of death. Death to me is someone in the room whom I need to have a conversation with. For me, death is an exploration. It's brilliant. It's magnificent, and it's the one thing we all share, animal, vegetable, human, it doesn't matter. We're all going to share this.